Follow the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Live in Vegas, Circuit Resort and Casino is the spot. Mitch Moss along with John Jastremski. He's filling in for Paulie Howard today, who was on vacation. Busy hour coming up. JJ is a big Dolphins fan. We'll talk some NFL coming up in 15 minutes. There is a very intriguing market to look at this year, and one team, everybody expects Miami to be really, really bad this year, including JJ, but there is a team based on the schedule that I think clearly is a team that you want to look at for last winless team, or I should say maybe even most losses in the entire league this year. Steve Wyss, bottom of the hour, his take on the two World Cup matches that we have. Okay, so the biggest story in the sports world going on right now, JJ, is the fact that the day two of the Open Championship is in the books now. Royal Birkdale. Lucas Herbert is your solo leader at 8 under. He is 2 strokes up on Cameron Young, your guy, Jackson Suber, my guy, and Ryan Gerard also finished at 6 under as well. Some people may have been paying attention to the tournament earlier, driving around in their cars right now saying, well, hold on a second here. When I stopped paying attention, Bryson DeChambeau was at 7 under, and he was. That's where he, in theory, closed the day at today. However, after his round, he was docked a 2-stroke penalty for what happened on hole number 5. He went from the short shot, when our show started 2 hours ago, to 10-1. He's 3 strokes back. Craziness ensued. We're going to hear from the chief referee here coming up in a minute. But we've been talking about this throughout the show today. Like, what do we get from Bryson tomorrow? Like, where's his head going to be at starting tomorrow?
It's $1 million question, Mitch, because I think most of us discounted Bryson as far as having any chance of playing well in the final major of the year. This is a guy who missed the cut at the Masters. He missed the cut at the PGA. He missed the cut at the U.S. Open. And these are tournaments that, traditionally speaking, he's usually played pretty well. The Open Championship has not been kind to Bryson. So a lot of people were looking to fade him. I totally understood why. I'm sure he was a very popular pick to go and miss the cut. And to his credit, he's played his tail off over the first 2 days. He's in contention. He's put up some really good scores. But now some mental adversity coming his way because he was throwing a little bit of a fit. There was some threats that he's not going to play over the course of the weekend, which you and I both know is a whole lot to do about nothing. We're going to see Bryson DeChambeau back in action on Saturday, but the price has become far juicier. He's now a little further off the lead. The question is he going to be able to look past this, put it behind him, and come out firing right out of the gates? I don't know how Bryson handles this. I don't know if this gets him completely out of whack and takes him out of his element. And that's why I think if you're a bettor, you almost got to tread lightly here before you start playing matchups, before you go and add a little more on a 10-1 price. I need to see Bryson come out and play well over the first few holes, because if he doesn't, then you know his head is not going to be in the right place.
Yeah, well said. Okay, so yeah, he was trying to clear the area around his ball on hole number 5 today. It happened when he was walking around the ball in the heavy rough. Obviously, he was extremely displeased throughout the afternoon. It looked like he was trying to maybe press the grass down so the backswing would not be inhibited. But then once they actually docked him the 2 strokes to make him go from 7 under to 5 under, again, 1 stroke back of Lucas Herbert, who, by the way, today, 14 greens in regulation, 8 approach shots inside 20 feet, plus 3 strokes gained putting, 6 under on par 4s. Nobody was better than 4 under in round 1, and he just absolutely dominated today. More on that coming up here in a minute. But so, again, you know, Twitter detectives out there trying to read lips, like it looked like he maybe mouthed to the official, I'm not playing tomorrow if you guys dock me. Okay, well, you can threaten them all you want. They're going to stick by the letter of the law, which is what they did. And this is, again, reports that we got from the USA Network coverage. He did turn into a cordial human being after this. And he said that he's going to stay there and then, you know, go out there and actually compete like an adult and try to win the major starting tomorrow again, round 3.
And looking at that leaderboard, Mitch, Scheffler's still a favorite at plus 580. Despite the fact that, you know, he's the best player in the world. He hasn't won a major this year. He's been spotty. There's no way in the world I'm taking him couple of shots off the lead at plus 580. I just don't feel great.
Mm-hmm.
Cameron Young, you and I both grabbed that price yesterday. I believe 12-1 was the number that I grabbed.
Mm-hmm.
It might have been 11, might have been 13. I'm going to have to double check. I think 12-1 is the number I had. He's down to plus 650. I still agree with going and grabbing some Cameron Young, who's played really, really well over the first 2 days. And I think bigger picture, Lucas Herbert, as brilliantly as he played in this tournament on Friday, shooting 8 under par, is he really going to be able to go and do that again on Saturday and then again on Sunday? I just, little too unproven for me to go and back him at that plus 950 price. So I would circle Cameron Young. And if I had to give you another one, John Rahm slowly but surely starting to make a move here. He might be somebody to think about at 12-1.
Yep. He's plus 225, top 5. I was going to say, look, I mean, Scotty Scheffler could win this thing. The guy's the best player in the world. Has not been a great stretch for him leading into this tournament. Obviously, missed the cut at the Scottish Open. I can't take plus. Like, would you rather have plus 580 on him right now to win, or a guy who's at the same under, Bobby Mack, who now, by the way, has drifted out to 21-1? Wouldn't you rather take Bobby Mack at that number based on his play at these courses before and just like his track record overall as well?
Yes, it would. Yes, I would. And this is a guy who was in contention last year at the Scottish Open. This is a player who's been in the mix in these majors over the last 2 years. And you just nailed it, Mitch. It's all about price here. It's Scheffler, how many shots off the lead, compared to Bobby Mack, how many shots off the lead, except I'm getting a 21-1 as opposed to a 580. It's the, do you want to pay the Scheffler tax? And with the way he's played in these majors so far this year, for me at least, I don't.
Nope. All right, so let's hear a detailed explanation of what exactly took place and then the ultimate decision that was really put down upon Bryson DeChambeau after the tournament and after his round was over with. This is Grant Moyer, who is the chief referee at the Open Championship, explaining.
Bryson has been penalised 2 strokes for inadvertently improving the area of his intended swing, so intended backswing on the 5th hole when he was playing his second shot. Basically, I'm going to explain the technicalities of the rule here for you. Rule 8.1 restricts what a player may do to improve any of the protected conditions affecting the stroke. And this includes the area of the player's intended swing. So an improvement means to alter one or more of the conditions affecting the stroke so that the player gains a potential advantage for the stroke. Now, I would stress that this applies even when the action is accidental, as it was in Bryson's case. The area of intended swing includes the entire area that might reasonably affect any part of the backswing, the downswing, or the completion of the swing for the intended stroke. And importantly, what the prohibited action here is that the player mustn't move, bend, or break any growing or attached natural object. A player is allowed to fairly take their stance by taking reasonable actions to get to the ball and take a stance if, in some situations, that improves the condition affecting the stroke. But when doing so, the player must take the least intrusive course of action to deal with the particular situation and is not entitled to a normal stance or swing. I would reiterate, this rule applies even when there's no intention to improve the area, as was the case with Bryson.
Oh, man, I got to tell you, the fine print there, holy smokes. I mean, how careful do you have to be out there then? I mean, you have to have the rules analyst next to you. Can I put my foot here? Can I put my club here? That sounds like it's super tricky, doesn't it?
I'll tell you this, Mitch. I'm glad they aren't following me around on the golf course. Let's put it that way. Glad that I'm not being dissected in the way that Bryson is being dissected for a variety of different reasons, you know?
He right away, he used the word inadvertently, and then he's like, yeah, it wasn't on purpose. Well, my God almighty. That to me, I completely now understand Bryson's beef. Don't you?
Yeah. The thing is, though, golf is finicky with these rules.
No, truly.
So you almost have to know the sport that you're playing, right? Like, I feel his pain. You most certainly feel his pain. but this is the game he plays. You know that you have this letter of the law technicalities. You have to mentally be able to rise above it. That's it.
Hey.
Like the belly aching and throwing a fit like a toddler. At the end of the day, Mitch, it's not going to do you a whole lot of good.
That part drives me nuts.
Go win a golf tournament.
You're right. By the way, you're spot on. Think about this for a second. This is the sport that for many years had that secret hotline that viewers could somehow call and say, hey, you might want to go back and look at Dustin Johnson there on 14 or whatever the number. I think he made an error. I think you got to go back and ding him a stroke or two. Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. We'll go look at that. Yeah, the viewer was right. I mean, are you kidding me? That was always baffling what that would happen. So, no, the reason why I feel sorry for Bryson is because I did bet him live today to win the thing. So I did not want that two-stroke penalty.
Curiously, Mitch, did you get for that?
So when he was 4 under, I believe, right away, I bet him 27-1 to be the second round leader. That was a loser. And at the time, I got 16-1. So I'm sitting on 16-1 rather than right now 10-1. So I clearly did not want that to happen, but it did. And you're right. I mean, you have to, like any sport that you're playing in, you got to know what could potentially happen if you're out there in the rough and you know that, look, am I really doing this the right way? I don't know. So then be careful or ask somebody.
Those first couple of holes for Bryson DeChambeau, the utmost importance.
No doubt.
After you go and give up 2 strokes, you need to go 4 or 5 holes. Don't blow up. Don't blow up, buddy boy.
100%.
We shall see.
So JJ's a big Dolphins guy, goes back to the great Dan Marino days. As bad as it might be for that team this upcoming year, it could be worse. Another team has a clear path to finish with the worst overall record. I'll explain coming up next.
So you're listening to this podcast because you want an edge. But what if I told you you're only halfway there? You've got the mindset. Now it's time to get the toolkit to match. Here's the thing. Pro bettors spend thousands on data and tools, but what they don't want you to know is you can get the same edge for a fraction of the cost with VSiN Pro. With VSiN Pro, you get access to expert picks, public betting data, prop projections, powerful tools, analytics, and more. Tap the link in the description and see why thousands of bettors are already using VSiN Pro to cash more bets.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Now, this is an incredible prize package. Winners, Circle Proxy, and VSiN giving away 2 incredible packages that will put 2 lucky fans into the world's biggest football contest for free. One winner is going to get a $1,000 entry into Survivor, another one into Million, both here at Circa. Both winners are also going to receive a full season Winner's Circle Proxy service, a VSiN studio tour, and a free month of VSiN Pro. Enter by Sunday, August 2nd for your chance to win. Visit winnerscircleproxy.com/VSiN to enter today. That's winnerscircleproxy.com/VSiN. And JJ, I'll tell you this, Tom, who runs the proxy service, I was walking into Circa today at the same time as him, and I'm like, hey, numbers are trending up, and he got this big smile on his face, and he's like, look, unless people made it a point to come to Las Vegas earlier than ever to sign up, he goes, I think we're going to get, and he said his original projection for entries, and again, there's 20,000, right? That's the guarantee's 20 million for Survivor, so 20,000 entries at $1,000 a pop. His original projection was 22. He goes, I've changed it already. I think we're going to get more than 23,000 people involved.
Ooh, baby, I love the sound of that.
Mm-hmm.
I love the sound of that. And Mitch Moss, I will be one of those 23,000. I actually need to plot when I'm going to make my my trip to Vegas. I usually like doing it the opening night game, and then I fly out for the opening night game. I sign up. I stay the extra day. I'm going to have to go through the schedule. I'm a busy man these days, obviously a father of one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm working a bunch of gigs, but I always clear out a 48-hour pathway to make sure I get to rock and roll, sign up at the Circa, and make sure the boys are ready to go.
Good for you. It's a pro move. Yeah, you got to get involved, and we'll talk about it a lot, obviously, on the show and the network throughout the entire year, which means that get involved, like the audience. If you can come out here and get involved, you got to do it, because it's once you have that taste and you go on like a mini run, it's incredible, and you're going to want to do it like every year moving forward. I'll ask you this. Again, as a Dolphins guy, you live in New York, but you're a Dolphins guy. It goes back to the Dan Marino days. I can't blame you. He has gotten lost in history. I can't imagine the numbers he would have put up had he played like in current day football. But what do you make of Malik Willis this year for the Dolphins? I'll throw a couple of props at you. Right now at DK, his season-long passing yards prop is 2,949 yards and a half. The passing touchdowns, 14 and a half for him this year. What does your gut say about those numbers?
I think the Dolphins are going to run the football a ton, but they're also going to be a bad team. So I'd be more inclined to go and bet the over for passing touchdowns than passing yards, just because I think the game script for a lot of Miami games is going to be Devon Achane, and now they have a dual threat quarterback who can run in Malik Willis. And I don't know if you've looked at the depth charts for wide receivers throughout the NFL. My goodness, Mitch, it's the worst receiver room in the NFL by a significant margin. Still trying to figure out who's going to be the leading receiver if it's not Achane and if it's not their tight end Dulcich, who I like a little bit. But here's the way I would look at Malik Willis. You know, we were talking about free rolls, right? In the blackjack tournament that you have with some of the high rollers at Circa. To me, the Dolphins get a major free roll and get a chance to see if Malik Willis can build upon the success he had with the Green Bay Packers, where he was one of the best backup quarterbacks in the league. Yep. He put up some monstrous stat lines. He has a skill set that should translate into being a decent to quality NFL quarterback. He can run around. He's got a big arm. He was a bust with the Tennessee Titans. So if you watched him in Tennessee, you're like, this guy's a loser. He's going to be out of the league in 2 years. When I watched him with the Packers, I said, I think there's something here. I want to see what he can do as a starter. And here's the good news for them. Mitch, if he stinks, okay, they're on the hook for $20 million. They're a rebuilding team. Who cares? Yep. They'll be picking high in the draft. They can go and draft a quarterback. But maybe Malik Willis has a chance to go and be a top 15 NFL quarterback. Yep. Worth the look for a year. So I'm at the very least intrigued.
I'll be honest. After he initially got in for Green Bay, like when Love would miss games, we gave up on the guy during his time in Tennessee. You're right. He couldn't play. It was a wasted pick for the Titans. Then he goes to Green Bay, gets better coaching, better offensive set to work with, more skilled players, obviously. Eventually, after watching him a couple of times, when he would fill in for an injured Love, I would want to be on Green Bay because the number's going to move in I could get a couple of extra points because people thought that there's a big drop-off from Love or somewhat of a drop-off from Love to Willis. I didn't see it. I thought Green Bay had a chance to maybe even have a higher ceiling with Willis on the field. Now, will that work with, going from Green Bay, a very good team overall in general, to Miami? I mean, we'll see. I'm glad you brought up Achane because I will be honest, like if the Dolphins were a better football team, I'd want to be on this guy to win Offensive Player of the Year. I think he's that good. I can't because he's going to get lost because of the overall record. You know that his prop for rushing yards on the year is below 1,000 at DK, and the rushing over 5.5 rushing touchdowns is plus 130. Like, he's going to be Mr. Everything for this offense, is he not?
I would think so. The only skepticism I would have in playing Devon Achane props, Mike McDaniel was a master at designing that run game for the Miami Dolphins. And Mike McDaniel's first 2 years in Miami were electric.
Yep.
Obviously, they had the Tua concussion problems, and the team was soft. They couldn't beat good teams. You know, the narrative. That's why he ended up getting fired. And you go 7-10, and you go 8-9 in consecutive years, you're going to be out of a job. That's just the way it goes. But he was able to draw up a lot of creative and innovative stuff in the running game. And now you're bringing in a new coaching staff, a defensive-minded head coach in Jeff Hafley. And I think from a Malik Willis standpoint, it makes me that much more bullish on Willis for Miami because of the fact that their GM and their new head coach watched him in practice, saw everything they needed to see, and identified him as, that's the guy we want to start for us and to be our quarterback. When they could have easily just said, hey, it's a tank year. We're drafting a quarterback the following year. Nobody is going to care if we win in our first season. To basically say, we're prioritizing Malik Willis, that tells me they really, really like the guy. But that would be my only pause, though, Mitch, on Achane stuff, because you don't have the offensive-minded head coach. Everybody's going to be gearing up for him. They have no wide receivers. Does that end up becoming a problem?
Yeah, no, good, fair question. I'll tell you this. On paper, I do believe that Arizona is a better team overall, better roster than Miami. there's not a lot to like with your Dolphins. You know that. You said it here a couple times now. But there is a reason why in the market for like fewest wins or last winless, Arizona is a short shot on the board. For example, at DK, fewest wins, Arizona plus 250, Miami plus 350. Last winless, Arizona plus 225, Miami 4-1. Well, here's the deal with that. Obviously, now the Dolphins do have to play the Bills, and they get the Patriots 4 times combined, and they do get the Jets twice. But the Cardinals in that NFC West division, absolutely loaded. But here's the Cardinals' schedule out of the break to begin things. They begin at the Chargers, Seattle at home, at the Niners, at the Giants, the Lions at home, at the Rams, Denver, at Dallas, at Seattle, the Rams, at KC, Washington, Philadelphia, then their bye week. Maybe they'll outscore one of these teams early on. That schedule is impossible for a really bad football team. How the hell are they going to navigate this thing?
Can I give you a take right here, Mitch Moss? If the Arizona Cardinals do not beat the Giants in week 4, I think there's a very good chance they're going into week 12 winless.
I think you're right.
And I know that sounds crazy because it's the NFL and we see these wacky week 1. Like there's a wacky week 1 game every year. Like the Raiders and the Patriots. The Raiders were one of the worst teams in the NFL last year. The Patriots went to the Super Bowl. The Raiders were a small dog in the game and won outright. And we know how the rest of their season turned out. So I guarantee you, we're going to get one of those wacky, bizarre week 1 games that makes absolutely no sense. But I'm right there with you. I will be very, very surprised if the Arizona Cardinals are not the worst team in the NFL.
I mean, that is absolutely zero favors done by the NFL schedule makers. And that's kind of the game that I had circled as well. Like if they don't beat the Giants, I guess what could happen is their defense could play their absolute, and it's a bad defense, but their defense could show up in one of these games, play their absolute A game, and then you could have that offense with those weapons because they are, in theory, like they have talent on offense. I mean, a lot of good skilled guys there. Maybe they just outscore one of these teams by putting 38 on the board one week, and then that's how they get their win. Like, I got to be honest, like the week 5 game in the desert against the Lions, I should probably be looking at that game right now for a total. There's no way they're slowing down Detroit's offense, and they're probably give me over 49.5, give me over 50.5 right now in that game. You could probably say that about a bunch of the games on their schedule. They played out as one of the best over teams to finish of the year. I think it kind of picks up, maybe not in week 1. Chargers probably a little bit better defensively, but overall, maybe the same story with the Cardinals that happened in 2025. So it's followed.
So I would agree with that.
No, go ahead.
Totally agree with that. The only concern is injuries. Only concern with those totals.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep. Follow the money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Up next, the Meat Man, Steve Wyss, is going to join the program. He's been great at analyzing World Cup matches throughout the entire event. He'll come on one more time, and we'll examine the World Cup finale. He's got a couple of bets in that game. And how do we approach the third place match tomorrow as well? We'll ask Steve Wyss next here on VSiN.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
We'll get more of a read now on the 2 World Cup matches that we have remaining. Tomorrow, the third place match. And then obviously for all the marbles on Sunday, we go out to the Progressive Guest Line. Steve Wyss joins the program now. Betting Weekly Studios, Because We Win podcast. Meat Man, thanks so much for the time yet again. You've been dynamite with the access throughout this entire tournament. Before we get into these matches, as somebody who obviously has rooted for England your entire lifetime, are you over that loss yet?
Yeah, listen, because I have no complaints about it because how England deserved to lose the match. I have had worse moments as an England fan. The worst for me was when when England didn't get past Croatia in the semi-final of the 2018 World Cup. I was devastated because England, in my opinion, were much better than Croatia heading into that match. That was a massive opportunity. When we lost on penalties to Italy in the Euros, Italy haven't made a World Cup for about 12 years. So I don't really have a problem losing to Messi in Argentina when we deserve to. It was terrible tactics by Thomas Tuchel. Mm-hmm. I'm disappointed he's still in the job. I just hope he learns from it in 2 years' time because this England group it really deserves to win something in this period.
Me, man, totally fair. Now we got a third place match. France got whooped by the Spain team. We saw that. Then England, they lose in the excruciating way that they do. They got to play a game. They got to play a match nobody wants to play. Let's be perfectly honest. These guys want to call it a season. They want to head home. They want to say sayonara. How do we handicap this? How do we make sense of a match that the motivation very questionable here for both sides?
Yeah, both teams have said they don't want to play the game, and I think FIFA really need to look at this in the future. Best thing they could do is just let everyone score and have a crazy 7-6 game or something along those lines in protest. But look, I actually think there's a chance England could get mashed up here, because France have had an extra day to recover. I think the match means more to France, especially as it's going to be the last game in charge for their manager, Didier Deschamps, who is an absolute legend in the French country as a player and a manager. And I think that's going to have quite a bit of weight here. The players are going to play for him a bit of extra edge. Kylian Mbappe, he's going to want to win the top scorer awards. So I think he'll be motivated. There's a lot of question marks about player selection. Who's going to start this game? Because both sides will probably rest some players and give some minutes to guys who haven't been given many minutes in the tournament. It's just a matter of freshness. So I think France money line, though, that's the best bet here. -110. I'd even be looking at France -1.5. There's a lot of history of goals in this third place game. I think something like 9 of the last 10 third place games have gone over 2.5 goals. The one under recently was when England lost to Belgium 2-0 in 2018. And England did not show up that day. They didn't care. They were too tired and they'd kind of given up a bit. I hope the same doesn't happen tomorrow, but it could. So France money line is the best bet to me, and as a player prop, which you're going to ask me about soon as well, that I quite like.
For sure. Well, let me ask you about this first before we get to that prop in particular. So anytime goal scorer tomorrow, Mbappe's -135. On Sunday, Messi is +150. Yet, to win the Golden Boot, most goals scored in the tournament, Messi -165, Mbappe +130. Does that make sense?
Not really, but it's all about minutes, and there's still a chance Mbappe could be injured. We know he was carrying a slight ankle problem heading into the semi-final. There's a lot of question mark. For those who like to wait until the lineups are announced before betting on a soccer game, the most sensible thing would be to wait until you see the 11s, if you want to do that. I personally think Mbappe will start. I think he'll score. Ideally, he wants to get a goal or two and then come off after about an hour, and his job's kind of done. But yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But what I will say in terms of that award is, depending where you're betting at, the tiebreak is most assists. Mm-hmm. So if they finish level, if there's no more goals scored, I think Messi wins it if there's no more goals scored. But don't quote me about that. But check with your book, because it could be dead heat rules if they're just level on the goals.
Fair enough. Now, Steve, there's one more player prop in this third place match. You have one for us. We're looking at the assist market. Who are we looking at?
Rayan Cherki for France. I think he's going to start the match. They've not used him enough in this tournament. He's a technical wizard. He plays for Manchester City in the Premier League. And this is a guy who finished with, I think, the second most assists in the Premier League this season. Only Bruno Fernandes finished above him. And Bruno just broke the assist record. And Bruno's on all the corners and free kicks as well. Rayan Cherki, I think, got the most assists from open play in the Premier League, or certainly tied Fernandes. So this is a technical wizard, a fresh player who's not played much in the tournament, and he could really terrorise England here. He's always looking for the pass rather than to actually score a goal. So he's got great vision. And look, I hope they start in France. If they don't, then it'll probably be a void bet in your book. I strongly suspect the French will wheel Cherki out here. And he's plus 200 to assist. I think it's a big price in a match, which, I mean, the goal line's 3.5.
Yeah.
Someone's got to assist these goals, guys, haven't they?
Yeah, well said. Follow the money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Our guest, the Meat Man, Steve Wyss. He's on X at Meat Man Soccer, Because We Win podcast and Betting Weekly Studios. What is your best bet then in the title game on Sunday between Spain and Argentina?
My best bet's a bit of a boring bet, sadly. I like the under. Under 2.25 goals on the Asian goal line at -120. because I don't think this is going to be a great final in terms of entertainment and goals for those who like that. The last 2 World Cup finals have been brilliant. I mean, nobody forgets the one in Qatar last time out, when France against Argentina. But I think in this instance, both sides will just play a very cagey game. Both sides are very tactical. They're going to press each other a lot as well, which is going to generate quite a lot of fouls. The fouls in this match could be about 30 or more, which really breaks play up a bit and stuff. We've got hydration breaks anyway. And, I think Argentina getting past England a few nights ago might empty their gas tank a bit, And I could see Argentina being a bit more defensive than normal in this instance. Spain maybe find a way eventually. I think Spain probably do win this World Cup. But we're looking at maybe 1-0 Spain, 2-0 Spain. The last time there was a World Cup final in the USA actually ended 0-0, and we went all the way to penalties. Brazil beating Italy famously in 1994. So, yeah, World Cup finals traditionally were pretty tight and tactical and low scoring. The last time Spain were in the World Cup final was a 0-0 tie in 90 minutes as well. So I like that under 2.25 goals, and I like the halftime tie. I've brought this bet up quite a few times on the show during the World Cup. You could look at 0-0 halftime, but the tie at halftime plus 105 in the first half, no one's going to want to make a big mistake that could cost you the whole World Cup. So they feel each other out. My best estimate is Spain probably win that second half 1-0, 2-0, and do get the job done. But it's going to be a tight and cagey, low-scoring match, in my opinion.
Well, man, we're in agreement. I like Spain as well. That said, betting against Argentina is frightening. They have tiger blood at the end of these games. They're never out of these games. So to look at it from their perspective, how did they go and pull this off on Sunday? What's the biggest key for Argentina to go and beat Spain?
Yeah, the biggest key is they've got to shut down this Spanish midfield if they can. And the way they can do that is by physically pressing them hard, matching them. France couldn't do that. Maybe Argentina can. And then tactically trying to basically block the lanes of passing for Spain into certain areas. France couldn't do that either. Maybe Argentina can. And then the second game plan, well, Lionel Messi. England allowed him to run the game in the last 30 minutes, which they did well against Messi for a while, and then they couldn't stop him. If you do like Argentina in this match and you think Argentina are going to score, then the best bet is Lionel Messi to score or assist at plus 110. If you like Argentina, because everything runs through him. If they score a goal, he's going to be involved.
Yep.
I don't know if they are going to score against this Spanish team, though. This Spain team is a machine. They're not the most entertaining watch. Some are calling them boring, but they get the job done more often than not.
Well, I think the conversation is going to have to be had. If they shut out Argentina and win the Cup, we have to look back at this team and say, where do they rank all time? If they allow 1 goal the entire World Cup, I mean, my God almighty. And by the way, I'm glad I asked you about the Golden Boot. I thought that Messi and Mbappe were tied right now with assists. That was incorrect. Messi actually does have the tiebreaker right now. It comes down to assists. Both guys have 8 goals, but Messi has 4 assists and Mbappe only has 3. So he would win that award right now.
He would. And that is why on the tiebreak rules, if no more goals are scored from both, then Messi's getting that award. I think Mbappe might have something to say about that against a tired and a bit deflated England, though. Yeah,
I think you might be right with that. You guys going to be live doing the shows tomorrow and Sunday, again at 11 o'clock Eastern time?
Yeah, I'm on the final show on Sunday. We've got tomorrow the other hosts on Dan Roebuck with Nigel Seeley. Should be in the house tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern time on at Because We Win. So tune in, guys.
Very good. There you go. Again, yep, Because We Win Podcast, Betting Weekly Studios. Meat Man, pleasure as always. Thank you. Best of luck this weekend.
Thanks, guys, for having me on this World Cup. Really appreciate it. And hopefully see you soon again in time for the new season. Take care.
Yeah, for sure. Got to be on. I'd love to break.
This guy's been unbelievable, Mitch. Unbelievable.
I'd love to break bread with him, grab a couple of beers sometime if possible. He's phenomenal. Our best bets in pocket plays coming up next year on VSiN.
He knows the quarterback was on coke if his girlfriend was knocked up.
These games are a burial, a blowout, a human lock. You can bet your children's unborn children's children on these games.
I was so good that whenever I bet, I could change the odds for every bookmaker in the country.
JJ cooking last night with the Mets, eh?
I sure was. And it's so nice, Mitch, when you have a limited card to choose from and you go and bat 1,000. So thank you, Christian Scott. Thank you, Francisco Alvarez. And thank you, umpires, for making sure that Kyle Schwarber ball that hit off the top of the wall ended up being a double and not quite a home run. So, yes, we ended up having a profitable Thursday. Now the goal is, Mitch Moss, let's go and have a profitable Friday, shall we? We got a couple for you, which I am stoked to give out. I've hinted at 2 already. The Yankees at -105, basically an even money bet against Sasaki. Garrett Cole going up against the Dodgers, first time since that 2024 World Series. Dodgers' first trip back to Yankee Stadium since that Game 5 nightmare. And I think this series means a little bit more to the Yankees. Liked what I saw from the Yankees going into the All-Star break. Remember, the Dodgers got swept going into the break. Don't trust Sasaki in the bandbox at Yankee Stadium. I'll take the Yankees with Cole at a very discounted and reasonable price. Now, unfortunately, sometimes you got to bet bad teams. 24 hours ago, we bet the hideous New York Mets. Well, you know what we're going to do here on this Friday, Mitch Moss? We're going to go and take a team that is even worse than the New York Mets. That happens to be the Kansas City Royals and Seth Lugo. We are going to take the Royals at +104 to go and take down a Padre team that everybody and their mother is betting. I know Michael King is throwing the ball well. The Padres are getting outscored by basically 40 runs on the season. They have been lousy for the better part of a month. They can't score runs. I don't think they're going to get to Seth Lugo here. I know the total is crazy, crazy high. Give me Kansas City as a contrarian play against the San Diego Padres. And then last but not least, we talked about Bobby McIntyre and how he has a knack for contending in these major tournaments and why there's a case to be made. You'd rather take him at 22-1 as opposed to taking Scotty Scheffler at 5-1, considering they're the same amount of strokes off the lead. Not going to take Bobby Mack to go and win this thing, although if you want to have a little fun this weekend, be my guest. We'll take him to go and finish in the top 10. That is at +120. So Yankees, Royals, Bobby McIntyre, and away we go.
Very good, man. Best of luck, JJ, tonight. A couple of losers on the old Open Championship betting card for me. Yeah, Matt Fitzpatrick had a unit and a half on him, +165 to go top 10. Missed the cut. Man, oh, man. Crazy. I can't even imagine. He was the third shot to win the entire tournament. I can't imagine what the no price was on the cut thing. Joaquin Niemann matchup over Bryson DeChambeau. No good. DeChambeau had missed the cut at all 3 majors. Niemann, probably the best player, if not one of the best players on the entire LIV Tour, having a great year. That thing was dead half an hour into the tournament yesterday. Pending. I said it yesterday. It's never easy when I bet Xander Schauffele. This is going to be another example. I got him top 10. He's at even par right now. He is tied for 52nd. He's got some moving day tomorrow, buddy. Let's put the pedal to the metal. Top 20, Colin Morikawa, +150. He was there all day. Was there yesterday. He's currently 2 under, tied for 25th. He finished the last 4 holes. Bogey, bogey, birdie, double bogey. Did me no favors there. Patrick Reed, top 20. He had a good day today. He is currently tied with Morikawa for 25th. That's +245. I got Francisco Molinari, top 40 at +330. He's currently 4 under, tied for 8th. And another guy that I got top 40 is Rio. Here we go. Hisatsuni at +255. He got to 4 under today. And then in the next 10 holes, 5 bogeys. So he did make the cut. He's 1 over for the tournament, tied for 67th. He's got to pick it up a notch tomorrow as well. And a new bet tonight for me, JJ, in Major League Baseball would be the Detroit Tigers. They lost 2 straight going to the break. They're getting Detmers tonight, who his A game's very good for the Angels. But I'll take Troy Melton and the boys at -106 on the year. Melton, a 1.82 ERA, 0.81 whip, over 49 plus innings with 41 Ks in the last month. Sub 1 ERA, I get it. He doesn't pitch a lot of innings. He comes in usually. But the game log going back, this is starting in June. 6 innings, 5 strikeouts, limited runs big time to the White Sox. He followed it up 6 more innings, 6 strikeouts, only 1 run. After that, no runs allowed at your Yankees on July 1st. 6 1/3, 7 strikeouts. So it's been picking up for him. Guy's been really good last month. I'll go Tigers minus 106 in this spot tonight.
I like the sound of that. This is a monstrous series for Detroit. There's going to be a whole lot of chatter about what they want to do with Tarek Skubal. It's not being dramatic in saying, Mitch, these next 2.5 weeks of games may absolutely chart their course of action one way or the other. So if you're a team like the Brewers, if you're a team like the Phillies, or whoever that's going to be in the Tarek Skubal sweepstakes, you're running like crazy against the Tigers.
No question. And not just this year. I mean, it goes way beyond that, obviously, if Skubal's not going to be on the roster and he gets dealt somehow. By the way, no shortages of betting opportunities. I think this year is the prime year to ever say that. My God, I can't believe it's going to be August in 2 weeks. Crazy to me. You've had the daily Major League Baseball now kicks back into high gear tonight. World Cup every single day for the most part. Now is the perfect time to lock in VSiN's football special. It's only $175. You're going to get full VSiN Pro access to the Super Bowl, including our brand new NFL betting guide. You can attack futures, win totals, division races, the upcoming season. Plus, you're going to get daily best bets, real-time betting splits from DraftKings and Circa, AI-powered prop projections, 24/7 video on the VSiN Watch app, and coverage of every major sport all year long. Here's what you do. The earlier you sign up, the more value you're going to get. Go to vsin.com/subscribe now. That's vsin.com/subscribe. Do you plan on going to any of these Yankee-Dodger games this weekend?
It's funny you said that. I sold my tickets for tonight.
Oh, you mentioned that.
Not only did I want to spend the Friday evening with you, which has been an absolute blast. I've enjoyed the last 2 days. I got to do TV, and I was at the All-Star game Monday and Tuesday, so you kind of get like that baseball stadium burnout. And if you can go and double your money for a regular season game, you do it. The game that I really wish I was attending, though, Mitch, and unfortunately I have to work, Schlittler and Yamamoto on Sunday.
Oh, that's the big boy.
That's a matchup. That's the game I'd like to be at. So if that was the matchup tonight, I think I'd have more FOMO,
Yeah, for sure. By the way, what do you make that number on Sunday night? That's an intriguing question because Yamamoto was still a stellar starting pitcher, and the Dodgers are the highest power-rated team. I wonder, that to me feels like I'm going to want to be on the Yankees with Schlittler. I think you're going to get a nice number on Cam in that game.
What do you think? It's Dodgers minus 120?
That would be I could not make it any more than that. I honestly, if I'm a book, I don't even know if I want to offer even money on the Yankees.
Because you figure the public will come in and grab that. They'll go crazy getting even money with the Yankees.
I will bet the Yankees if it's even money on Sunday night. That has to be an in-pocket play for sure.
Look at us guessing the lines for a Sunday baseball game. Proud of us.
Look ahead baseball lines, soon to be very popular across the country, like the NFL season for sure. No doubt. But this is great. Now, second half is upon us. Deadline, like you said, coming up in a little bit. Skubal is definitely the biggest name. You brought this up yesterday. It feels like there's maybe more smoke on the daily with the Yankees and Mason Miller. You brought up a catcher. They got Ryan Jeffers obviously back now from the IL for the Twins. I think they need to be aggressive. And you said yesterday you think they're going to be aggressive as well.
They better be aggressive. Listen, Aaron Judge, I hope you get him back by late August, early September. But that hourglass is ticking.
Yeah.
It's ticking for him. It's ticking for Garrett Cole. I could make the same argument, Mitch, about the Philadelphia Phillies with Harper and Schwarber and Wheeler. And when you have these teams that have been knocking at the door and you haven't brought home the hardware, sooner or later you got to wonder, with that group of players, how many more chances are you going to get?
And, oh, by the way, for teams specifically like that, if you're in the front office, do you consider the possibility of no baseball next year? And so you're actually...
I think you have to.
Right? You'd be more aggressive this year than you typically would be?
I think you have to. And I do think we will have baseball. I'm glass half full on that.
I really hope
I know
you're right.
Some people would tell you otherwise. I think you might miss a month, but you're going to have some form of baseball. The point being is, you got a chance to win. go and win, because you never know what your team's going to look like the following year and beyond, especially with a lockout.
Totally agree. If you're there, I mean, Mike, so many teams in the American League, for example, should be aggressive. Will they be? Who the hell knows? JJ, blast, man, the last 2 days. Dynamite doing shows with you. Thank you so much for the time, and best of luck this weekend, okay?
I love the Follow the Money team. Happy to keep the seat warm. Enjoy your vacation, and Paulie better be ready for me on Monday.
Yeah, you're going to be back next week with Paulie. Prime time is next with Humans and Will Hill. Have a great weekend, everybody.